That's not how the story goes. Welcome to MsMojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 differences between the A Series of Unfortunate Events books and Netflix series.
Is this about the children? I apologize for the noise. I told them to cry using their inside voices.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're taking a look at all the times Netflix deviated from the source material in their adaptation of Lemony Snicket's books. If you haven't watched the show's first season or read the first 4 books, know that there will be spoilers, a word which here means information about the plot of a motion picture or TV program that can spoil a viewer's sense of surprise or suspense.
I don't know what you're up to.
Me? I'm just having my morning coffee, although I can't seem to find the sugar bowl.
Number 10. The Miserable Mill's backstory. In the 4th novel of this most unfortunate series, little is learned about the Lucky Smells Lumbermill. The show offers more backstory, as the Baudelaire's parents are implicated in a fire that scorched the town.
There's a reason this town will never forget your parents. They're the ones that burn it down.
This only adds to the irony that their parents perished in a fire. It's also revealed that Dr. Orwell has been hypnotizing the mill's workers. Perhaps that's why they're willing to accept gum and coupons as compensation. When Klaus gets brainwashed, Violet figures out that saying inordinate can free him from his trance.
An inordinate?
Inordinate! Klaus, inordinate!
The fire motif comes full circle as Orwell meets her end in a furnace, as opposed to the book where she gets the axe via buzzsaw. Number 9. The Spyglass. Speaking of motifs, spyglasses keep popping up throughout the Netflix series. Klaus first stumbles upon a mysterious telescope with an eye symbol while exploring the ruins of his family's burned mansion.
Which means I'll be handling all matters concerning everything they left behind.
What did they leave behind?
Financial security.
Throughout the series, Uncle Monty, Jacqueline, Count Olaf, and various others are seen with similar spyglasses. VFD members not only use these devices to remain vigilant, but to also decode hidden messages. In the books, however, the spyglasses are given little to no attention. These eyepieces did play a significant role in the 2004 film adaptation of A Series of Unfortunate Events, though.
Passing the torch is a rite of passage that can take many forms, but perhaps the least known and most surprising is the passing of a spyglass.
The show continues to evolve this idea, picking up where the movie left off in many respects. Number 8. Sir and Charles's partnership. The book describes Sir as an enigmatic figure whose face is kept veiled behind a cloud of smoke. Sir is constantly smoking a cigar in the Netflix series, but his face is exposed up front with no element of mystery.
Call me Sir. Everybody does, because I tell them to. I'm the boss.
The most noteworthy change to the character is his partnership with Charles. In both the novel and the show, Sir is the one who wears the pants in their dynamic. Meanwhile, the good-natured Charles is too spineless to stand up for himself. The Netflix series suggests that their partnership isn't merely of the business variety.
In fact, partners can mean several things. It could mean 2 people who own a lumber mill together or cupcakery. Now with the advent of more progressive cultural mores, not to mention certain high court rulings, it could also mean...
I do all the work, he irons my clothes.
I also cook your omelets.
While not overt, it's definitely hinted that they're in a romantic relationship. Either way, Sir never treats Charles as his equal. Number 7. The Baudelaires Run Off.
I hope Mr. Poe isn't too worried about us.
The first few books follow a familiar formula. The Baudelaires meet a new guardian, something happens to that guardian, Mr. Poe takes them to another home, and the cycle repeats. The Netflix series shakes this formula up a bit, particularly at the end of The Wide Window. Instead of returning to Mr. Poe, the Baudelaires sneak off with a photograph that leads them to Paltryville.
Baudelaires! Baudelaire!
The children trespass upon the Lucky Smells Lumbermill, as opposed to the novel where Mr. Poe arranges for them to stay there. In a way, this makes a lot more sense. Mr. Poe may be incompetent, but why would he consciously send 3 orphans to live at a dangerous mill?
I believe you treat children like grown-ups. Put them to work in the mill. It'll teach them responsibility. It'll teach them the value of hard work. And it'll teach them how to make flat wooden boards out of trees.
Number 6. Aunt Josephines Redemption. The wide window introduces us to Aunt Josephine, the Baudelaire's cowardly new guardian.
Do you live with our Aunt Josephine?
I am your Aunt Josephine.
When Count Olaf confronts her in the book's climax, Josephine is willing to throw the children under the bus in order to save her own skin. While the show still depicts Josephine as a scaredy cat, she's given a few more redeeming qualities. It's implied that Josephine was a much braver woman once, but lost her nerve following the death of her husband. Rather than completely submitting to Count Olaf's threats, Josephine summons the courage to finally defend the Baudelaires in the end. In both incarnations, though, Josephine winds up sleeping with the fishes. Well, technically with the leeches.
Aunt Josephine!
Number 5. Jacqueline.
Gustav, Jacqueline here.
For those who only read the novels, the name Jacqueline probably doesn't ring any bells. That's because she's an original character who was specifically created for the Netflix series. Played by Sarah Canning, Jacqueline acts as Mr. Poe's assistant, but is secretly a member of VFD.
I don't make it a habit of socializing with employees, so that's really all I know. Other than the fact that she came highly recommended by your parents.
Sometimes operating from afar, and other times taking a more direct approach, she frequently helps to foil Count Olaf's schemes and protect the Baudelaires.
She can keep you safe and tell you everything you need to know. Let me handle Count Olaf.
While Jacqueline isn't mentioned in the books, fans have speculated that she's actually Kit Snicket, Lemony and Jacques Snicket's sister who appears later down the line. In any case, it's comforting to know that the Baudelaires have a competent adult on their side. Number 4. More attention given to Mr. Poe.
It is a nice day. I have some very bad news for you, children. Your parents have perished in a terrible fire.
The novels depict Arthur Poe as a well-meaning, yet oblivious banker who often puts the Baudelaires in peril and always has a bad cold.
Oh, yes, Count Olaf. I'm sorry you don't have a good first impression of him.
This remains the same in the Netflix series, although he's given more development. In the books, Poe typically appears towards the beginning and the conclusion of each story in a futile pursuit to find the children a suitable guardian. Here, we delve deeper into his personal life. Even his wife is given more attention, as she uses her resources at the newspaper to track the runaway orphans down. Speaking of which, Poe's wife is named Eleonora in the show, but in the books, this was his sister's name.
I'm finished, Eleonora. If I hadn't lost those orphans, I'd be getting a promotion right now.
Number 3. Lemony Snicket's presence.
The story will be dreadful, melancholy, and calamitous. A word which here means dreadful and melancholy.
A pen name for author Daniel Handler, Lemony Snicket acts as the narrator of this depressing tale, supplying the books with their signature darkly humorous tone. He also chronicles the Baudelaire's misadventures in the show, but has more of a presence throughout.
In my own lonely room, I have gathered a collection of things which are important to me, including all of my notes on the Baudelaire orphans, a few crucial objects that I have gathered in my travels.
Part of this is because Snicket actually appears on screen and interacts with the environments, as opposed to simply being an unseen character or a disembodied voice. In a way, he's kind of like Rod Serling in The Twilight Zone.
Respectfully submitted for your perusal, a Canamet.
While still shrouded in mystery, this gives us a better idea of how Snicket was connected to the Baudelaire family and what he's been up to. Plus, who knew Snicket could sing?
You may think that the Baudelaires ought to prevail and be tucked someplace all safe and sound.
Number 2. VFD.
I'm giving you the verified film discount.
In the books, the secret society known as VFD isn't mentioned until the Austere Academy, which is where the second season of the show picks up. The Netflix series, however, introduces us to VFD almost from the get-go. It's quickly established that the Baudelaire's parents were part of this organization, and the children cross paths with several other members. In addition to Jacqueline, we also get to meet Gustav, who was only mentioned in the source material. Lemony Snicket even tells us early on what VFD stands for, although he gets the message across in a subtle manner that only very firmly dedicated fans of the franchise will catch.
All my associates and I have managed to learn is that neither the official fire department nor the volunteer fire department arrived in time to stop the blaze.
Before we get to our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
All of the artistic and financial aspects of my career are finally coming together like two pieces of a bread in the middle of a sandwich.
is Jessica haircut.
That's strange. I have an appointment for a haircut right now. Jacqueline, please cancel that haircut.
Mr. Poe, there's an urgent matter.
No. I want to hear what this man haircut has to say.
Number 1. The Baudelaire parents survive, but not really.
Things change. We have 3 children who need us, and they need us now.
Readers were immediately caught off guard when the Netflix series introduced us to Will Arnett and Colby Smulders as a couple trying to reunite with their 3 children.
I'm worried about the children.
Me too. They're in danger, I know it.
It's implied that these 2 are the Baudelaire's parents, which is a huge departure from the books where they both die in a fire. The showrunners pull the rug out from under the audience towards the end of season 1, however, as it's revealed that the mother and father are actually the parents of the Quagmire triplets, who eventually become good friends with the Baudelaires.
Duncan, Quigley, Isadora!
Mother? Father?
Get over here, you 3.
It's a legitimately clever twist. That works whether you've read the books or not. Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from MsMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.